Mr. Chairman, thank you, and to Senator Wyden for including my bills to address a couple of very difficult public lands issues that Nevada is facing. As you know, Mr. Chairman, prompt action on these types of bills are extremely important in the well-being of us Western states. So thank you very much again for holding this hearing. As you know, the federal government administers roughly 85% of the land in Nevada, the highest percentage of any state in the nation. This presents our local and state governments with many unique challenges. Those communities often work closely with the congressional delegation to develop bills to improve public land management. Last Congress, I was proud to work with Chairman Murkowski on the public lands package that was ultimately enacted into law as part of the National Defense Authorization Act. The 8 Nevada bills included in that package were the culmination of nearly a decade worth of work on public lands bills. I appreciate the chairman's leadership on these issues, and I hope my 2 bills here before us today will be the next in these public land successes. Douglas County Conservation Act. The first one is a grassroots-driven proposal that balances the needs to spur economic development while preserving our state's Western character. In 2009, Douglas County embarked on a long process to develop legislation that adjusts federal land ownership and management throughout the economy. Over the course of 6 years, they performed outreach activities, held a series of community open houses, obtained the input of stakeholder groups and several 100,000 community members. Ultimately, the Board of Commissioners unanimously approved framework of a bill and requested that Congress move forward. As a result, Representative Amodei, Senator Reed, and myself introduced the bill in February with the support of our entire congressional delegation. The final product jumpstarts economic development throughout Douglas County while ensuring the rural character of the Carson Valley remains intact. Specifically, it conveys lands to local governments and the Washoe tribe for important public work projects. Additionally, it would promote conservation of riparian and bi-state sage-grouse habitat along the Carson River and improve recreation opportunities. I want to particularly underscore the conveyance of flood control management areas and important water resource infrastructure parcels to Douglas County, which are critical to the long-term economic competitiveness of the region. 4 flash flood events that occurred in July and August of 2014 ravaged the region, causing more than $1 million worth of damage throughout the area. The county has started construction on 2 projects to reduce the flood risks and conducted additional studies to identify additional flood risks. Whereas out east, local governments can acquire land on their own to build public works projects. Unfortunately, out west, as you know as well as I do, we have to get congressional approval. These conveyances are critical to the county's long-term flood control and transportation planning efforts. This bill was developed from the bottom up, not the top down, the way public lands bills should be written. And as a result, it has garnered nearly unanimous local support ranging from the Washoe tribe to local towns and general improvement districts. My second bill, the Good Samaritan Search and Recovery Act, would solve a long-standing public safety issue in public lands. Congressman Joe Heck and I first introduced this legislation in 2013 in response to the tragic stories of Mr. Keith Goldberg and Air Force Staff Sergeant Antonio Tucker. Both of these individuals were missing for over a year before volunteer Good Samaritan rescue teams received government authorization to begin searching. Keith Goldberg, a Las Vegas taxi cab driver, disappeared in January 31st, 2012. He was believed to be a victim of murder, but the police were unable to find his remains in the Las Vegas desert. When new evidence pointed towards the Lake Mead recreation area, the Goldberg family reached out to a private search and rescue team to look for Keith. All that prevented the rescue team from discovering the body was the bureaucratic red tape of the Park Service, which refused to allow them to search the area without a permit and a $1 million insurance policy. After the family spent 6 months finding an insurer and raising the money to buy the policy, Keith's body was found within 2 hours. Similarly, Staff Sergeant Antonio Tucker's family suffered a similar frustrating ordeal. Staff Sergeant Tucker was stationed at Creech Air Force Base when he went missing on June 23, 2012. He was believed drowned. Like the situation with Keith Goldberg, a search team offered to look for Staff Sergeant Tucker, but was blocked by the Department of Interior. When the team finally got authorization to search, nearly a year later, they found the body in 2 days. So no more families should have to go through what the Goldberg and Tucker families have had to endure. This bipartisan, common-sense legislation that expedites access to public lands for search and recovery organizations has been thoroughly vetted in this Congress. It has had multiple hearings between the House and Senate, attracting no significant opposition. And last year it passed the House by a vote of 413 to 0. I am confident it can garner similar overwhelming support in the Senate, so let's get this done. Again, thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Chairman, for testifying today, and I look forward to working together to move these bipartisan proposals through the United States Congress.
Thank you very much, Senator Heller.